Hello everyone, my name is Ryan Cam, and over the next couple of reviews, I'm going to be talking about movies that I think will be completely under the radar and will be just a great shame. The first of which I'm going to be talking about is Summer of Soul, or When the Revolution Could Not Be Televised. This was directed by Questlove, who is the band leader on one of the nightly talk shows that I just do not watch. And this movie is a documentary on the 1969 Harlem Cultural Festival. Everybody knows about Woodstock in 1969. It's the greatest music festival of all time. However, what people don't know is that 100 miles away from that, in Harlem, at specifically Mount Morris Park, New York, there was another music festival, the Harlem Cultural Festival, that celebrated African American music, specifically jazz, gospel, Caribbean, and I know I'm missing a couple genres, but it was celebrated nonetheless. I had not seen a trailer for this movie. I really didn't even know what to expect. All I know is that I read Rachel from Rachel Reviews' review on the movie and how it was incredibly glowing, and so I thought to myself, I should probably watch that. And thankfully, it was actually at a theater relatively close to me, so I decided to go watch it. And I loved it. I know for a fact that this movie will be overlooked, and that is a shame, because this documentary was endlessly fascinating. First of all, the best compliment that I could give is that for older archival footage, this footage looks outstanding. I don't know if they had to doctor it to try and make it look good, because the footage is about 50 years old, and that, or just a little over that. So I don't know if they had to treat it or anything, but it's literally like you were watching these performers just perform, for lack of a better term. It looks like you're watching Stevie Wonder sing. It's like you're watching Sly and the Family Stone, or Nina Simone, and so on and so forth. And that goes double for the performers themselves. This documentary has some of the people who sung at the festival actually talking about it, and like I said, it's just fascinating. Some of my favorites included members of the Fifth Dimension, who sang the Age of Aquarius / Let the Sun Shine In. I did not know that they sang that song, and I love that song, so Fifth Dimension's awesome. And they actually talk about how that people originally thought they were white, and there were certain sections that thought they were too white, and I just thought that was very fascinating to hear them talk about. And it's also incredibly fascinating to hear about how this festival came about. It was from the brainchild of a radio DJ / promoter named Tony Lawrence, who basically talked a big game and knew a lot of people, but unlike others, he could actually back it up. And he approached New York City Mayor John Lindsay about the festival, and Lindsay, a Republican, actually said yes. And I just thought that was just, like I said, endlessly fascinating. Not only that, this festival was actually sponsored partly by Maxwell House Coffee. Life is strange sometimes, it really is. And I say that not because of the festival, because the festival is fantastic. It's strange in the sense that nobody bothered to dust off this footage until now. They say in the beginning, the film says in the beginning that it was filmed and then it was put in a basement for 50 years. That is a tragedy. Especially considering how famous some of these bands would become, specifically Gladys Knight, who was relatively successful but would become bigger later on. One of the Temptations who had left, I can't remember his name, but he's great. Stevie Wonder, Nina Simone, like I mentioned, the Evelyn Harris singers who came up with the song, Oh Happy Day, Oh Happy Day. It's crazy to think that nobody had unearthed this until now. But I'm so glad that I got to see this movie. I'm going to give this an amazing grade. This is a fascinating documentary, and I know, drink for every time I say fascinating in this review. But I have no other word to call it, because this movie is just, well, It's just very well made and very well put together. And if you have the opportunity to watch it, watch it. I believe it's on Hulu right now, so if you have Hulu, then by all means go ahead. No Sudden Move. This was directed by Steven Soderbergh. We all know who he is. And this is an exclusive to HBO Max. And part 2 of my duology of great 2021 movies that are sadly going to go underseen. This movie tells the story of a group of small-time criminals played by Don Cheadle, Benicio del Toro, and Kieran Culkin, who are hired on to do a, quote, babysitting job. Basically kidnapping a GM executive, played by David Harbour, and stealing blueprints to a revolutionary idea. The job goes horribly wrong, and the thieves begin turning over stones to find out A, who hired them, and B, what could be in this envelope that is so important. Steven Soderbergh is just a fantastic filmmaker. From the Ocean's movies to Logan Lucky, which is just about this close to being my favorite movie of 2017. If Blade Runner 2049 had come out in literally any other year, Logan Lucky would be my favorite movie. So when I heard that this movie was coming straight to HBO Max, I said to myself, yeah, I gotta watch this. And I am glad that I did. First of all, the cast is just loaded to the gills. I'm pretty sure this was like Wes Anderson, where Steven Soderbergh was like, alright, just go through my contacts and see if they're available. And sure enough, they were, I guess. By far and away, the most fascinating were Benicio del Toro and Don Cheadle. You get to see them on screen the most. And even though they are criminals, you are just fascinated over who cooked up this job and who pretty much set this up for complete failure. And honestly, I don't want to talk about the cast really anymore because it's a treasure trove of just people you're like, hey, there he is. Let's just say, if you've seen 1999's The Mummy, you will be happy with who is one of the villains here. And let's just say, if you've ever seen any of the Bourne trilogy, then you will be happy with who one of the other villains is. That's all I will say. David Harbour is also excellent. Really, anything after that disastrous Hellboy 2019 is a massive improvement. But his arc is genuinely intriguing and was very underrated. And honestly, I think that's all that I really want to say, because this movie is best if you go into it nearly or completely blind. This is one of those movies that starts out small, but by the end, you've just been through so much that it feels like you've run a marathon. Or at least that's what I felt. This movie is amazing. It's definitely going to be overlooked and underseen, but if you have not seen it, I do highly recommend it because it is fantastic. But that is all from me. Thank you so much as always for watching. If you like this video, please be sure to leave a like, comment your thoughts down below, and if you like this video and you want to see more like it, hit the subscribe button and click the bell to allow notifications. That way when a new video drops, you'll be the first to know about it. My name is Ryan Cam. I'll see you in the next one.